I'm Dan Kingsley with the Realty Edge team, eXp Realty, and I'm here to just quickly explain the buying power of the interest rate. So the reason I bring this up is we have a lot of past clients and current clients that wonder if it's a good time to wait to purchase a property because the market's so hot and there's so much competition. The one thing that we know for sure is the interest rate is a record low, and that will only go up. Why is that a big concern? That's what I'm going to show you. So I'm going to give you a couple examples just to give you an idea of how it works, but typically if you can think about 1 percentage point on an interest rate on a mortgage is equivalent to about 10% buying power. So there's two parts. There's buying power and then there's your monthly payment. We'll go through both kind of quickly here. So let's say, we're going to say an interest rate of 3% because it's what the APR is at 3.1, the rate's at 3 currently today, versus 4%. So interest rate, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about, we're going to do like a 3% down conventional loan. So keep that in the back of your mind, 3%. So we'll just put the down payment at 3% for both. We're trying to keep everything as similar as possible so you can compare. And let's go with a loan of $200,000. That's pretty typical. So buyers qualify for $200,000. Okay, at 3%, the monthly payment, the math on that I have written down, $1142. Now, just so you do the math when you're doing your own calculations, that's about $1,200 per year for insurance, and I've got on there for approximately $2,600 in taxes for the year, which is kind of close to around $200,000. That's about where they're at. So those two things are in there for both. I'm not changing the taxes and insurance on either one. And then the 30-year payoff on that is going to be, if you pay minimum payments for 30 years, $294,448. $294,448. Okay, so monthly payment is $1,142, including taxes and insurance. It's at 3% down conventional. It's a buyer that's qualified up to $200,000. Now, if the buyer is qualified to $200,000 at this 3% interest rate today, and then they wait a couple months and then they start looking at houses, or it takes them a couple months to find a house or whatever, or they just postpone it for a few months and it goes up a full percentage point to 4%. The difference there is the buying power changes from $200,000 to $180,000. So instead of being qualified for a $200,000 house, now they're qualified for a $180,000 house. $20,000 lost in buying power, or 10%. Still a 3% down payment conventional loan, but the weird thing is sometimes people are like, oh, then it's going to be $180,000. That's fine. My monthly payment will be less. But remember, we had $1142 here. What it comes out to be is $1158. So now it's $1,158. So it's more. $20,000 less on the loan. Same amount of down payment, same percentage. It's actually less, but your monthly payment's going to be higher. Okay, and when you look at, if you stayed in that house for 30 years, made minimum payments the whole time, $300,084. So a difference of about $6,000, pretty close to $6,000 you're going to pay more for $20,000 less on your mortgage. That is the power of that interest rate. 1%. Monthly payment goes up. You have $20,000 less. Everything else is the same. You're going to end up paying more for that same house. $300,000 in 30 years for a $180,000 house versus buying a $200,000 house at $294,448. Why? Well, part of the reason is this buying power is based on debt to income ratio when you get your financing set up. Okay, if the interest rate goes up that much, it typically keeps you around the same payment. But because of that rate going up, there are other factors that start to multiply. So instead of getting into the details on this, I want to keep it simple. Something to keep in mind is 1 percentage point is about 10% buying power. But it doesn't reduce your monthly payment, it increases it, plus you pay more overall for the loan. Okay, so that's a $200,000 house. Great. Okay, I'm going to wipe this down quick, and we're going to do another one. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is going to be $300,000. Okay, so we're going to leave most of the stuff the same. Now, I took into consideration The difference on a $300,000 house has higher taxes. So on the taxes, I put $3,500. So insurance is about the same, $1,200 per year on average in the Rochester area. But instead of the 26, I put 32. I put $3,200 per year for a $300,000 house. So taxes are a little bit higher, but the taxes are going to be the same, 3% versus 4%. So I got the number down here. So we're going to do 300,000. Most of you guys are doing the math right now. So $300,000 property, the monthly payment, that's going to come to be $1,618. And total payoff, and that's $441,672. Okay, now a 10% difference, that's going to take you from 300,000, to 270K. $30,000 less buying power. 1% difference in interest rate. A $300,000 house right now in Rochester, you guys probably know what's going to get you, versus a 270. Actually, it's pretty hard to get like a 4-bed, 2-bath. If you're going to get a 3-car garage at the 270, most of that's 280 and above right now. So you're bumping yourself out of that third stall and maybe the ensuite. Maybe more depending on exactly when you buy and what area, what neighborhood. So now the difference here, so we got 1618 here and 1642. So 1642 is what that comes out to be. Total payoff in 30 years, you pay nothing but minimum payments, $451.26. Okay, so look at that. You're basically paying $9,000 more overall if you do 30-year minimum payments. You know, you're almost 30 bucks more per month, but you're $30,000 less buying power. Okay, so that's 1 point. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Dan, the interest rate's not going to jump up 1 point, which it probably won't unless you wait like 6 months to a year or something like that. So totally understand. Let's just do another one. We're going to use the $300,000 example, and let's say it goes up a 0.5 point, because the reality is that can happen relatively quickly. Okay, so we're going to say 3.5%. So 3 to 3.5%. I'm not changing taxes and insurance, anything like that. All I'm changing is the rate buying power. So 300, that's going to put you, so the 300,000, 3.5%, it's a 0.5 point, not a full point. Okay, so it's 5% buying power. That's the difference, right? That's 285. Still pretty substantial between 300 and 285. It's barely getting you that class of 3-car, 4-bed, 3-bath kind of house in Rochester that's relatively new. Your monthly payment on that is going to be $1,633. Yep. And total $446,898. Okay, so not quite as drastic on the payoff. You know, you're looking at just about $6,000 difference that you're going to pay. But look at where you're at. You know, another $10 a month, no big deal. But you're still losing that 300 down to 285, $15,000 buying power. So that's in a 0.5 point. Now, the reality of the interest rates moving a 0.5 point is pretty real. So for somebody saying year to year, I'll just wait because there's too much going on with the market, I don't want to deal with multiple offers. You're better off probably losing out on a couple deals. Don't overpay, but at the same time, you know, there's a reality that somebody else is going to overpay and they're going to beat you. It's better to do that and get a house that is fitting your criteria, but you're dealing with a little more competition than losing out on the ability for this interest rate. That is very crucial. The only clients I have that get that right off the bat or know it before they come in are typically people that have been around from the 80s, and they remember that the interest rates were in the 17-18% back then. And they know that this interest rate we're at right now, they'll never get for the rest of their life. So they're downsizing, even if they're buying a pretty substantially expensive or new construction home that they're paying a premium for, they're getting an interest rate locked in for the rest of the time they'll be in that property. So that's one of the things to think about. Younger folks looking at houses, it's a great time to invest because this is going to free up you paying a ton of money towards interest. That's the ability to reduce your monthly spend and put that towards something else, either saving up for retirement, paying down a car, paying down debt, whatever you want to do. But having this asset as a house, a $300,000 house versus $15,000 less, or if it goes up a point, you know, $30,000 less of assets that you can use later on to refinance a car or take out a home equity line of credit that you have with the ability with the more money at the lower interest rate. Something to consider when you're thinking about is now the best time to buy a home or not. If you got more questions about it, you can give me a call or send me a text at 507-990-1721 or send me an email at dan@therealtyedge.com. I look forward to helping you out.